So, there's been a lot of dispute in the community about Asta's anti-magic being overpowered, as well as Asta's status as an underdog being called into question. Some believe the anti-magic strips Asta of any weakness and makes him stronger than most in the world, and a plethora of content has been made explaining why that may not be entirely valid, so rather than fully rehash that, in this video I will offer a thematic defense for Asta having anti-magic that may be obvious to some, and perhaps went over the heads of others. Regardless, I wanted to get the thought out there since I haven't seen any videos that discuss this with any detail. So to start, I'll remind everyone of the themes that Black Clover has had since Chapter 1 and what Asta as a character is meant to communicate to the reader. In Chapter 1, we see the idea introduced that anyone, no matter how hindered by their status, no matter if they have no family, no matter if they have no magic even, can become something great. This is a major theme in Black Clover, along with classism. Asta longs for a day when people are treated equally regardless of their standing in life and their background, and he wants to prove that he can come from nothing and still become the strongest mage in the Clover Kingdom as a way to reinforce that and prove his ideology. Asta as a character serves to communicate these themes and bring them to their conclusion. And not just Asta. We see these themes echoed in Zora and with his father Zara, Julius in the star system, as well as Magna and also the Black Bulls as a squad. It's one of the most prominent themes in the story. With that being said, it's fitting that the power Asta earned was the power to equalize, a power that negates magic no matter how strong, no matter who it comes from, no matter their social standing. Asta, an orphan, a peasant, someone with no magic, can negate powerful magic. It doesn't matter if it's a commoner, noble, royal, elf, or even devil. He negates it and equalizes the field. He can negate the social division that we see royals display with their large pools of mana and their ridicule. And this fits Asta, seeing as even in one of the recent chapters, when it came to Liba, his devil, he basically just said, just because you're a devil, it doesn't mean you're a bad guy. And this sentence really summarizes Asta as a whole. We've seen this side of Asta on a number of other occasions. I think back to the elves specifically and other kingdoms as well, such as the Diamond Kingdom. Back in the Dungeon arc, he tried to save Mars, which he had no reason to do. But that's just Asta. And this isn't to say that Asta was given this power. You could argue he earned it, seeing as he trained with the only thing he had, his body, to the point where he was mistaken for using magic to increase his speed. It makes you wonder what Asta would have been like if he had magic, how hard he would have trained. His physical strength and his anti-magic swords are symbiotic. One isn't going to be very effective without the other. Asta had to train his body in order to even be able to swing his sword, hold it, and even keep up with spells like light magic. And obviously ki is a factor there as well, but you get the point. Had Asta not trained what he did have, he wouldn't have been able to use the anti-magic swords at all, and his anti-magic would be pretty much ineffective until he does eventually train his body. So when we look at Asta as a character, he is the ultimate equalizer. He equalizes in using his anti-magic, and he will equalize the world when he becomes the Wizard King. He's the only character in the world with no magic, and through his drive to not give up, to train regardless of having no magic, to have faith despite not knowing if magic would ever come to him, he found something that only works for him. And through this, we see that Asta's message is one of inspiration. If the lowest of lows can reach the highest of highs, what's stopping someone like Magna, a peasant, from achieving his goal of being a rival to Luck? What's stopping anyone in Black Clover? His extremely lofty and ambitious goal serves to emphasize the power of hard work, faith, and keeping a positive attitude and not giving up. Asta is the most misfortunate character in Black Clover, and that is to say, Asta is the one who deserved to give up the most. But he didn't. And none of this is to say that the takeaway is that you'll always achieve your goal. Obviously that isn't true, but Asta's message is that people have to try. People have to have faith that good things will happen, and that despairing does no good. Asta provides encouragement to not just give up due to our circumstances, but rather to keep fighting against them, so that we may just find strength in our weaknesses. Anti-magic is an ability that fits Asta so well thematically as one who opposes classism, and it aids the story by effectively portraying the message that everyone is equal in worth and opportunity in the world. Now that we see the underworld works similar with Liba, it also makes sense that he, as a devil, has anti-magic. He is going to topple the devil hierarchy along with Asta, and it's going to be that much more satisfying. I hope that people remember this as the story continues and people can perhaps gain a new respect for the often underappreciated and clever writing that we see from Tabata in Black Clover. Thank you for watching.